All right, so these notes should be pretty quick, maybe some of the shortest notes we have. First off, we're going to continue talking about angles, but we're going to move on now to angles created by triangles. On this slide should be a review. This is something you should already know. The interior angles of a triangle, so the angles on the inside of a triangle, add up to 180. So that's something that should be prior knowledge you should already have coming into this class, and it's something we're going to use for our new topic today. So first off, if I give you this triangle, you should be able to find angle Z. If you know this angle is 47 and this angle is 36, then what would angle Z be? So how would you figure that out? We just got done saying that you should already know that angles inside of a triangle add up to 180. So then we know that if we take 47 plus 36 plus Z, the missing angle, that should give us 180. 47 plus 36 is 83. So then 180 minus 83 tells us that the missing angle would be 97. Now, something to keep in mind when it comes to these problems, if you looked at angle Z, this obviously is an acute angle. So there's no way this picture would show it being 97 degrees. But remember, when you're doing problems on a quiz or a test or just on any assignment, just because the angle doesn't look like it could be an obtuse angle doesn't mean it won't have an answer bigger than 90. Sometimes they give you that just to try and throw you off so that you don't guess and things like that. So when you actually calculate it, don't be, I know some students would look at this and they would get 97 and say, well, that's like an acute angle, so it can't be 97. That's okay. All right. So 47 plus 36, 180 minus that total tells us angle Z is 97. So that's something you should already know how to do. So now what we're going to talk about in this topic is, okay, what if one of the sides of the triangle continues to go out, kind of like when you did your Dinky King assignment, you would have had if there's a parallel line here and another one up here, this is a way you would have been able to use these two angles to figure out the outside angles. So that's the way this will be used. You have a triangle. One side of the triangle continues going out. How do you find the angle on the outside of it? So right now, you should be able to look at these two and say 97 and X are what type of angle pair? They form a straight line. They're right next to each other. So you could say that they are supplementary. So angle ACB, which is this one, and angle BCD, which is the outside one, are supplementary. So we know that 97 plus X has to be 180. So if you do 180 minus 97, we know that the outside angle is 83. Now, what if this angle is not here? There's a shortcut for you to be able to figure out the angle on the outside. And it involves these two angles. So if you look at these two angles, is there anything you see or notice that you can use these two angles to figure out this angle? Look at the numbers and see if you can figure it out on your own. What can you do with this angle and this angle to figure out the outside angle? So we'll see. Hopefully some of you notice that if you add them together, 47 plus 36 equals 83. All right. So it worked out on this one. Let's see if it works out on another one, which we'll look at in a second. But what this is called is the exterior angle theorem. It's going to be the shortcut for how you take the two angles on the inside and use them to find the outside angle. So the outside angle of a triangle is always equal to the sum of the two far away inside angles. So the angle on the outside is equal to the sum of the two farther away angles. So if I have this picture and I want to know what's this angle, 60 plus 70 is 130, so it has to be 130. All right, so that's all that we're going to talk about in these notes is using that to figure out one of the missing angles. And it might be, instead of use these two to figure out this one, you might have an inside angle and the outside one, and then use those to figure out what one of the inside ones are. But all you need to remember is the two angles farther away, if you add those together, it equals the outside angle. So if we take a look right here, if I wanted to know what angle Z was, since I have this number, I could do 180 minus 36 to figure out that that's 144, or you could look and say, okay, 47 plus 97 is 144. All right, and I'm going to start moving a little quicker through the PowerPoint just because the regular 8th grade class will need to slow down a little bit, but you all should be able to go through this pretty quickly. This is called the exterior angle. And then the two angles on the inside are called the remote interior angles, because they're interior angles, and they're called remote because they're farther away from the outside. It's the two angles further away from the exterior angle. So if we look at this one, let's see if it works. 36 plus 97 will give us this answer. Since we know this angle, you could also do 180 minus this number to get that one. So let's take a look. 180 minus 47 says this angle should be 133. And if we add these together, 36 plus 97 is 133. All right, so you take two angles on the inside, add them together to get the outside angle. All right, so this is something we've talked about. That's the exterior angle. Those two are the remote interior angles, and you add the remote interior angles together to give you the exterior angle. So let's look at a different type of problem. On this one, you have the exterior angle is 128. The interior angles are S and 13. So now how would you figure out what S is? Well, you know S plus 13 has to equal 128. So if S plus 13 is 128, all you do is 128 minus 13. To get that S would be 115. So you would just do the outside angle minus one of the inside angles to get the other inside angle. All right, so what about this one? This is 50 and this is S. The exterior is 130. What would the interior angle be? 130, so we know that 130 minus 50 is 80. All right, and that's it. That's all you really got to do for these. They're pretty simple. So if we look at this one, they want you to explain how would you find angle 3 if angle 5, so if the exterior angle is 130, one of the interior angles is 70, how would I find angle 3? So how would I get angle 3? Well, you know that this angle plus 70 has to equal 130. So then 130 minus 70 tells me that angle 3 would have to be 60. All right, so that's basically it. If you want actual notes to look at, all you really need to write down are these things right here. Don't worry about what's up here. This is the assignment for the in-person class. So you're going to have to do some of these, but not all three of these. So don't really worry about that right now. If we look, so you've got, remember, you can add the two angles on the inside together to give you the outside angle. And if one of the inside angles are missing, then you take the outside angle and just subtract the inside angles to get it. And that's it. All right, so we're only going to have one activity to do for this. There's no reason to have a bunch of different work. This is pretty simple. I'm sure just by looking at the two examples, you've all got this, no problem. So if you have any questions, email me or come to the Google Meet. But like I said, I'll give you an assignment tomorrow over this, and then we will move on to the next topic.